All right, so this is not the only way in which price discrimination can happen. Another way in which you see it a lot is when you have sales or discounts or coupons. These are all forms of price discrimination. Jcpenney is an example. Jcpenney is known for offering, or was known for offering regular sales, right? If you're a Jcpenney shopper, some people grow up in Jcpenney families where you scour the news for the Jcpenney sales are going to be on. And you go when it's happening. That's like an activity that you do, and that's fun, right? Some people do that. I've known people who do that. They have lots of sales a year, hundreds of sales a year. So why have regular sales? What is the reason for it? Now you might think, well, okay, sales are when you lower your prices, and when you lower your prices, people buy more stuff. So that's why you would do it, right? You lower your prices, people buy more stuff. That's profit maximizing. But that can't be the whole story, because if that was the whole story, then why not just keep your prices low? Right? The question isn't why would you have a price that's low? The question is why would you have a price that's only low sometimes? And that's where price discrimination comes into play. So this is a form. So having sales is a form of price discrimination, because imagine you have two groups of customers. Some of them are very price sensitive. They're the people who are scouring the things. They're like, I really want to get the best deal. I'm going to spend effort and time and energy making sure that I get the best deal. If you try to charge me more, I'm just not going to buy it. I'm going to walk away. Right? You're the bargain hunter. Or you're just a person with that much money, you can only afford it when it's cheap. So some people are very price sensitive, others are not so price sensitive, right? You're to the point in your life where you just don't have to worry so much about paying $10 or $20 for a sweater, or you just don't care, whatever it is. So some people are very price sensitive, others are not so price sensitive. So what happens if you have regular sales? Right? If you have regular sales, then your very price sensitive customers are going to wait for the sale and they're going to come in when the sales happen, which means that your price sensitive customer is going to pay the lower price, which feels like they got one over on you, right? If you've ever been a bargain hunter and you find a good deal because you've been hunting for it for a while, it feels like you got one over on the company, right? That's what it feels like. But actually, anything profit maximizing thing, they want you to have that low price because they know that you would not be willing to pay the regular price, right? So if you're price sensitive, you're going to wait and shop during the sale. This is called a hurdle, right? If you want to get the low price, you can have it, but you're going to have to work a little bit for it. Right? We're not going to give it to everybody. You got to work a little bit for it. So this could be you have to wait for the sale. This could be you got to click a coupon. This could be you have to put your name on a mailing list, whatever it is. Right? You have to do something to get the low price. So if you're price sensitive, you're going to do that, and you're going to get the low price. If you're not price sensitive, then you're not going to pay attention to any of that stuff. You're not going to go coupon clipping. You're not going to wait for the sale. You're just going to walk into Jcpenney's whenever it's time, and you're going to buy whatever it is that you're going to buy. Which means that sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll happen to walk in on sale day, but most of the time you're going to walk in on a non-sale day and you'll pay the regular price. So what ends up happening? So you end up with two different groups getting charged two different prices. Price sensitive people who are only willing to pay low prices get charged less because they are willing to wait for the sale. People who are willing to pay more, they are not going to wait for the sale. They're going to end up on usually paying the high price, which is exactly what you want. You want to charge people as much as they're willing to pay. So if they're willing to pay a lot, you charge them a lot. If they're not willing to pay a lot, you charge them a little, so that you can sell to everybody, expand your market without charging these people less than they're willing to pay. So why am I talking about Jcpenney specifically? Everybody does sales. So in 2012, the new CEO, Ron Johnson, who came from Apple, became the CEO of Jcpenney. Came in and said, you know what? I think sales are deceptive. I don't like them. We're going to get rid of all the sales. That's what he did. Came in, got rid of the sales, and instead put everything on 40% markdown. So no longer a sale, sales are gone, but the prices are considerably lower than they would have been not on a sale, right? So imagine without a sale, 100% of price. With a sale on, maybe it goes to, 30% of the original price. And instead of that, we're going to sort of meet in the middle. So people who are charging a lot, they're going to pay a little bit less. People who are on the sale, they're going to pay a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to sort of meet in the middle. Everything's on 40% markdown, which should be a much better deal for most customers, right? This did not work well. First of all, profits dropped, as we'd expect, because price discrimination is a profit maximizing thing to do, right? You make more profit when you price discriminate because you're able to charge people what they're willing to pay. Also, customers hated it. Customers hated getting rid of the prices, even though the markdown was considerably good, was pretty good, 40% markdown relative to what it would have been. Now, why might some consumers dislike getting rid of the sales? Well, if you're a bargain hunter, then you are actually getting charged more. If you were going to get 70% off because you were waiting for the sale, and instead you're only getting 40% off, well, you're the price-sensitive customer, and you're no longer being catered to. They're no longer offering you the price you're willing to pay. They're trying to charge you more. You're taking the exact people who are willing to walk away from a higher price and charging them a higher price. So they are going to walk away. All right, fine, great. They walk away, whatever. We still have the high-value consumers, don't we? We'll sell to them, except we were charging them 100%, and they were willing to pay it. And we just voluntarily gave them a deal that they didn't ask for, right? So they lost customers at the low end who wanted the really, really low prices, but only got a kind of low price. And then we lost value on the high end because people were willing to pay a lot, and we only charged them a little. So you lose profit on both ends. People don't like it. They go away, and then Ron Johnson got fired, and they brought back the sales. And you can see how this logic sort of repeats itself anytime you have a coupon or whatever, right? Anything that takes a little bit of effort is designed to take only the people who really want the low price and get them to pay the low price because you want them to be your customers, even if you're getting a smaller margin off of them. It's better than not selling to them at all. And also by doing it in that way, by forcing there to be a little bit of effort in there, people who don't care about the price are willing to pay the high price, so you get as much out of them as you possibly can. So to sort of sum up price discrimination, it's good for low marginal benefit customers because the price comes down for them, right? If you can imagine, if there's price discrimination, people who are willing to pay a lot get charged a lot, people who are willing to pay a little get charged a little. If you take that away, if you force the company to only charge one price, the sort of temptation is to say, well, everyone's going to get paid the low price. They're just charging these people more because they can. But that's not really what it is. They're going to charge whatever the profit maximizing price is, which is going to be somewhere in the middle. So going from price discrimination to no price discrimination, the price gets worse for the low-end customers, but it gets better for the high-end customers. So price discrimination is good for the low marginal benefit consumers, which often includes low-income consumers, as firms want to charge them lower prices. They want to charge them lower prices because that's how you get them in the door. It's bad for high marginal benefit consumers. Firms now have the opportunity to charge them more without losing their customers, right? In a market where there's only one price, if I'm a high benefit customer, I benefit from the fact that you need to keep your prices low to sell to everybody else. Take that away, if you can charge me a separate price, you're going to charge me what I'm willing to pay. That's worse for me. So it's good for low marginal benefit consumers, bad for high marginal benefit consumers, good for the firm because profits go up. Summing up oligopoly. Oligopoly is when you have more than one firm, but less than a lot. There's less pricing power than a monopoly. However, you can still keep prices above the competitive amount by basically agreeing or cooperating with your competitors in some way, either explicitly or implicitly. Monopolistic competition is pretty much everywhere. Anytime there's a brand that anybody cares about, that's an example of monopolistic competition. It can also happen with small variations on goods that are very similar but not exactly the same, like store brand cereal versus the brand stuff. This usually better represents modern competition than the pure competitive market model does. Although if there's not that much differentiation, you can sort of simplify and not worry about it. Results are similar to competitive firms, but not quite the same. Prices we would expect to be a little bit higher. Quantities we would expect to be a little bit lower. But there's also no barrier to entry. So there is a churn of firms, right? Not in a monopoly, you're making a profit. Nobody else can come in and compete against you. Monopolistic competition, you're in a market, you're making a profit, but people can come in and start new clothing brands, right, or new burger chains or whatever, right? You can't stop them.